that little baby talk. And then after a few minutes, I was feeding the girls. And after a few minutes, I'm like, oh my God, he's having a conversation. And so I tap into my son, who's tapped into the spirit that I didn't even notice in the corner of the room. And they are having a full-blown conversation about myself and my husband and what we're worried about and how foolish it was. So it was very, very interesting. And since then, I've worked with a lot of kids that come in wide open. And, where I feel the strongest pull is to help the children that don't know what's happening to them and their parents don't know. And so there's a lot of fear. I worked with this one girl. She was 13 years old, single dad. The dad was amazing. The dad found me. I don't even know how he found me. And he said, you have to help my daughter. All these dead people come to her and she's just exhausted and wilting away, and I want her to have a normal childhood. And so I worked with her to teach her energetic boundaries and that she gets to choose to do this work, and she didn't want to not help. So deceased people that hadn't crossed over would find her because she could help them cross over. So I taught her how to create these boundaries and say, okay, you have 2 days that you're open after school from 3 to 5. And you put that in the energy. And it's almost like you have office hours. You sit in this chair and you say, okay, whoever needs to cross over, come now and I'll help you. And at 5 o'clock, you close up shop and you say, I'll be back on Thursday. And what that allowed her to do was to understand that she still had a life here to live, and she could go and be on the soccer team and have as normal of an upbringing and know that she was incredibly gifted to help people cross over. So more and more I see children like that coming in from very early on. And yes, I think they come in with the crystalline energy, and they have that connection to spirit that doesn't close down over time. Like, I believe all of us came into the world with that connection to spirit, but because it was never fostered, and what was fostered was all the physical stuff, we lose our connection. And now I see it doesn't even matter if these children have that fostered. They're open and they're connected and they are powerful.
What a beautiful message. I love you've covered so much in all of that sharing with us that, yeah, we have contracts, but you know what? We're in charge of all of it. And it's learning the dialogue to communicate back in with your guides, with your soul, and moving forward, and that everything is free will. Everything
we've
has
always
choice.
Said that you come in with a contract with invisible ink. In other words, you can change it and you can move on. And sometimes those contracts are self-imposed and they're not real contracts,
and
as you know.
I love that you're helping people navigate through that. So if there's any kind of advice that you'd want to share to people at this point in time, particularly as we're moving through COVID and some are on restrictions and some are slowly coming out of it, is there anything you want to share as a message for people?
I think there's several things. And the first, I think that's most important is to find your joy, that this life, this physical life may feel long in the day, but overall it's pretty quick. Like, we go through it pretty fast. And that if soul wants us to be here and have a joyful, happy life. And so go after that. Like, don't hold yourself to these false beliefs or constraints. I know for many, COVID was really, really difficult, but for many others, COVID was a gift. It was powerful. Things opened, things emerged, paradigms shifted, structures broke down, which created more freedom. And so every moment of every day, we get to choose how we're going to respond to what is in front of us. The second thing I would say that's super important is don't become powerless, because that's where we lose our connection. When we believe we have no power, when we believe life is happening to us, that's when people fall into deep depressions or don't feel like there's a way out.
Yeah. Right.
There's always a way. And if you can remember that and keep going back and connecting, and you can do it in little bits. Like people think to go on a spiritual journey is going to take decades. No, to go on a spiritual journey can take you 5 minutes a day. Literally 5 minutes a day if your intention is clear that you want to connect in with your higher knowing. You don't even have to say soul or spirit or God or whatever, just with your higher knowing. And if that's your intention day after day, what you're going to notice is that after many days, things will start flowing to you. Things will be created for you. The support that you wish for will come for you. It's so funny. My sister just started working with me, and I have some powerhouses working with me right now, doing some amazing work. And my sister asked me, so how much do you pay this person? I said, oh, no, this is her passion project. She's doing it for free. What? And then she'll say, how much do you pay this person? And I say, oh, nothing. Like they're doing it. They're volunteering their time. And she's like, why? And I said, because this work in their lives have created such an impact that they want to help support me getting this out to others. But let me tell you, one of my intentions is like the universe gave me a big platform and a big goal, like to help heal over millions of people. And I can't do that by myself. And so my intention is to ask for support every day. And people show up and they support me. Oh. And my sister goes, that's crazy. And I said, no, that's the universe helping me to do the work.
This is exactly what we teach. We teach this very same. Marianne, how can people find you? What's the best way?
The best way is to go to mariannerobot.com, or you can reach me at info@cflh.com. And we are in the conversion of, for 7 years, we've been known under the Center for Lifelong Happiness. The name happiness came from when we surveyed all our clients. We were asking them what was the one or two things they got. 90% of the participants said, I'm living a much happier life. And so we're like, oh, we should bring that. But actually now we're going back to my name. So it's going to be mariannerobot.com. There'll be a new website. But if you Google Center for Lifelong Happiness, you'll be redirected there as well. Wonderful. And we have a lot of programs for anyone on their journey. If you're just beginning, if you're an awakener and you're just learning, or if you're very progressed, there are programs there for you as well.
I love it. I love it all. Thank you so much. And we are out of time. And I wish we weren't, but we were. But people get a really taste. This is what this half hour is about, the interview. They get a taste, so you can go on if you wish to past this and go to those places and find a lot more. And that's exactly what we're doing here.
I love you, Marianne. I love your message. I love your shining light and an example of teaching us how we can create our most enlightened life. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I so enjoyed being here with you all today.
Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Wow.
Well, we have a 10-minute break coming up, and we will return with a circle of 12. We'll see you then.
have a diagnosis and you're like, I could die. And it calls you to potentially connect with something that is truly substantial, the inner connection. And then this like global burst of the fallout of that, right? Like life as we know it. Or if you haven't been maybe versed with this and you're just kind of starting to awaken now and go, wait a minute, what's actually really true? And you look within, it may have been a much more tumultuous path where you're still anchored into some of those structures. You still think your job is your source. You still think your body is what you are. So if the body is sick or the body dies, I'm just devastated. If I lose my job, what am I? I don't have a title. I don't have that income. That's my source. So to the degree we are anchored in the outer as the true reality, this is going to be a little bit of a, I don't know if I can say shitstorm.
I'm not sure if you can say that or not. But
I think leave out the word storm and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think right. I think people are used to the word storm. We're fine. We're just fine.
And just with great compassion, that really is the intensity with which people are experiencing. It's like we don't even have a word. It's too big. So it's calling, however, all of us to find what is the true center, what is the truth. And when we connect even a little bit more within ourselves, which we'll share some tools here, just in a simple way to do that, it can allow the dissolution of that outer chaos.
Can we have some examples, outcomes, the things that you've seen?
So from the medical standpoint, because of course I've seen a lot of people with severe chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, all kinds of diagnoses that maybe you're like, what do I even do with this diagnosis? If it's some weird food allergy or multiple chemical sensitivity, or why do I really have migraines? MS, thyroid disease. And this is a big part of the people who will find my work online, that they begin to understand I'm not just a physical, like I'm an infinite being having a physical experience. So I am first and foremost vibrational. Now, when we begin to shift into understanding that, like it won't make any sense. You're like, what is she talking about? Because we can't understand it from the mind that thinks I'm physical, the mind that knows this truth. We can only choose to start to soften, and even just physically softening the physical body, letting the breath come in, a more deep, fluid breath, so that we can perceive this truth I'm pointing at. Like I'm vibrational, first and foremost, and secondarily playing in the realm of the physical. It's a very different alignment. So for all of the people that I've seen have healing where it's like I was in the bed for 3 years, or I was told I would die in 6 months, or, fill in the blank with the ailment of choice. I was told I'd have to live in pain forever and just be on narcotics. From that adventure or experience to actually having a full and complete resolution where I'm like, this person no longer has. Jessica Sullivan, who's now on my team, had this journey where she had 3 years bedbound. Her life completely fell apart. And now she's 100% functional, dancing, singing, moving around her life and working, and has a very fruitful life with 2 children that came after she was told she would never have children. She's a great example because she understands that it's an inner journey. Like no one could give it to her. And she would have taken the magic pill all day long. Please just give it to me. But from the foundation of helplessness she was in, she couldn't have wholeness. So she had come through this journey of the work that I'm doing and had a massive shift. And, is now sharing that journey with others. Another woman named Alicia has had really severe suicidal depression, severe anxiety, stomach problems, food problems. That is completely resolved in her body. And she's in the same boat, like fully functioning in life and sharing this with others. Most people, when they have this kind of transformation, are super inspired to share what they've come through and what their journey's been. Another woman had very severe MS and was, a hospital bed in her dining room. The whole house had been revolving around her care. And they told her she had about 6 months to live. And she is also like walking, starting to walk and move her body and developing a business and having a whole different life. But it's that first shift where we begin to see, wait a minute, I'm not a physical body. I'm not broken. I'm an infinite being. First of all, okay, I don't know what that means, but let me just open to consider a possibility that's bigger than the one I have imagined or the one I have been shown. And so one of the things I have people do just to begin to let that in, because it will make sense. Like, your wisdom will inform you. You do not have to read 150 books like I read. You really can just begin to soften and let that wisdom guide you. It's who you are. It's the intelligence that created your body. And when we do something as simple as just, bring your shoulders up and let them fall. For me, I automatically go more into belly breath, like my diaphragm released a little more. Because even when I'm speaking to you, there's some like excitement that comes in the body that can create tension. We don't need that. It's not going to serve me. So in whatever you're doing, see if you can pull your shoulders up, take a deep breath in, and then let it all go. And then let a fluid breath come. It will come for you, a little more relaxation in the body. You'll feel it more full. If you've carried tension for many, many years, you might have to do a little more of this, tension and release to really feel it. But your body will practice into it very quickly. Now, this changes your nervous system. This is the first thing I'm going to speak about. Electromagnetically, because we are vibrational, that's the first shift. That's the instant. It's an instantaneous shift. We can measure this up to 8 to 10 feet away from the body. If you're in tension and fear, what do I need to do? I hope she can help me. Or wait, I have a diagnosis. And we go into that clamp down. We are electromagnetically closed, so to speak. We can't let something new in. So if we just kind of like, all right, I am scared, and let me just have a breath anyway. Physically soften. We do create an immediate, instantaneous electromagnetic shift. Now, there's really cool devices. Institute for Heart Math has lots of research on this, and they'll quantitatively look at this. And what is the shift in frequency from like tension, let me get help, I don't know what to do, to curiosity. I don't understand this, but maybe I'll listen, right? Just a 2% shift will actually register in a very powerful way in your electromagnetic field, meaning your vibrational frequency. The other fascinating things that we see it's not new research, it's actually way back from like the 80s, where they would look at the physiology shift, where, I have this new thought. It's okay to let go. Let me just get curious. And it will shift your physiology, meaning like the inflammatory hormones, the adrenal hormones of stress hormones, cortisol and epinephrine, adrenaline, the things that are shown to underlie every major chronic illness that most people are dying from will shift very, very quickly. So your cells begin to like communicate a new message. But the first thing that I think is so fascinating is your brain with this electromagnetic shift begins to open. We have different areas of the brain lighting up. The stress areas maybe sort of like mellow out a little. The areas of the brain saying, no, it's not safe. I can't let go. I've got to manage. I've got to control. That have us not see will sort of mellow out and calm down. Mm-hmm. And we can sometimes instantaneously have a new perception like, oh, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. And we realize all the ways maybe we have understood this in a deeper way, or this does make sense, or like, oh, wait, this one time when that happened to me, those areas of the brain light up, like everything you ever did right and showing you, wait a minute, I am powerful. Yeah. I am pretty capable. So we can like immediately transition out of the what I would see in the ER all the time, the helpless victim, right? Oh, my symptoms are acting up. Help me. That keeps us from letting wisdom and awareness in. And even that little bit of shift of softening the body, breathing more fully, and that frequency shift starts creating neurologic changes in your brain that totally alter perception. And then, of course, physiologic, chemical, hormonal changes in your body that literally reverse disease.
Brilliant. Well, I love all of what you said, and it's true. We cannot heal when we're trying to figure it out with the mind.
Right.
Everything is vibration, and it is allowing the body to relax. That's where the healing comes. That's the magic. And I know that you have a free gift to give our members, which is to do that exact thing, to take people into an instant elevation technique. So if you can just finish up, because we're almost out of time, but we'd love to hear about your website, how people can get in touch with you and what you have to offer, and your free gift.
Yes. So I've converted my medical practice now to do solely this work of mind-body medicine and assisting that awakening and healing. So my work is at drkimd.com. And one of the tools I found to just be like the universal thing that helped me unlock that connection within my body, and then really very quickly the healing within my body, I call it the instant elevation tool. So there's 3 component parts, very simple. And in the tool, we'll share the link here. I guide you through how to use this tool. It's very, very simple. You can do it in seconds, but for the first few times, you might go through this little guidance of how I guide you through it in several minutes to just become more adept, become more connected within, and create some of those changes in your brain. So a lot more awareness comes in, and this begins to make sense to you as well. I do a broadcast each week called Mind Body TV on Wednesdays. If you go to my site or my YouTube channel, Dr. Kim Duramo, there's information for that. It's a free broadcast, so people can tune into that conversation and receive tools and just more guidance, and I'll answer some questions. And so now I'm no longer in the ER, and I'm solely doing this work globally. People